It's another nutty day in the world of Magic the Gathering. The Aftermath leak situation has gotten even crazier. On top of that, there's another issue with March of the Machines, and Wizards of the Coast has made an odd change to Secret Lair bonus cards as well.
Magic. I am a wizard! History. I'm an old wizard! The Magic Historian. My bones hurt.
Greetings, owners of fine luxury cardboard rectangles, my friends. I hope the day finds you well because we have gathered for another installment of Mega Magic News. This is a weekend roundup edition. We have a whole number of different news items to talk about. The crazy Aftermath situation, it looks like the entire set is spoiled already. We have the Secret Lair bonus situation to talk about, a crazy mistake that's been made with March of the Machine. But first, before we do that, I want to talk about this big event that's going down in NYC. You need to hear about this tournament. Roll it! Hello, I'm an old wizard. My bones hurt. Today's video is sponsored by Debasement Games, who are holding the most adultiest Commander event you've ever heard of. It's happening in New York City. It is adults only, with very adult prizes like Mishra's Workshop, Gaia's Cradle, dual land action as well. Do you have kids? Well, throw them in the trash because they are not welcome at this epic level tournament. No kids! Get greased up with some adult food before you go back for some more adult only magic. They've got adult prizes. They've got adult vendors because it's adults only. This event is hosted by Debasement Games and Collectors Emporium. Don't miss it. June 18th. Adults only. Be there. But not your stupid kids. All right, my friends, now I want to talk about the change that has been made to Secret Lair bonus cards, and then we'll talk about some new bonus cards as well. Take a look at this. Up on the screen, you are going to see Braid of Fire. Now, at first glance, you might think, yo, I'm just looking at two copies of the same card, but you're actually looking at one copy of the regular card that shows up in the full Secret Lair, and then the bonus card that shows up as the extra in that Secret Lair. So take a closer look at the artwork and you will see that there are a few differences. So what's going on here? This is the same concept we've seen before in terms of a regular version and a sketch version in a Secret Lair, except this seems to be a digital sketch option. Now, I don't know if this comes down to the fact that there was no physical sketch or Wizards got feedback and they didn't like the black and white ones, because this is the first time we're seeing it. But at first glance, it honestly just looks like a mistake, and this is going to end up confusing people. Now let's turn to some other bonus cards. Take a look at this Toxin Sliver. This is a step and completed sliver. So they're taking the sliver concept that they were already inserting into Secret Lairs as the bonus card, and now they're going, you can get a Phyrexified variation. Now, I don't know how many different slivers they've done this to, but Wizards is ratcheting up the lottery nature of these Secret Lairs, because the slivers are just the tip of the iceberg. Take a look at this. The Shadowborn Apostle with step and complete foiling. This is where it gets pretty crazy, because with the slivers, those are hit and miss. Some players may want them, some players may not. They only want one for their sliver deck, but with the Apostles, you can play any number of them. There are only a few cards in Magic that have this special feature that say, cram as many as you want into your deck. So obviously this leads to people needing 10, 20, 30 sometimes of a card. And Wizards decided to lean into that by making different art variations of the Shadowborn Apostle. But here we see that combined with the step and complete foiling concept. So we're moving it into a new stratosphere of limited collectability, because I imagine these are only going to be available through the step and complete kit, right? So if you only get that secret layer kit, that's the only opportunity you will get to get these particular ones. And depending on how many different variations of the step and complete bonus cards they've created, you end up with a scenario where these could be insanely scarce. And again, it really does highlight the difference between these and the Braids of Fire that we just looked at in terms of standing out as a bonus card. The step and complete foils do look very striking. They do have a couple of flaws in that a lot of them seem to have print lines that run all the way down them. And also, if you have a step and complete foil, you can actually rub it with your fingers and your finger oil will get onto the card and make the icons that are on there disappear. You can wipe it off and they'll reappear, but it's actually kind of neat. It's like a magic trick, but also you can think you're ruining your cards. Now, that wraps up the secret layer news. Now I want to talk about the mistake they've made with March of the Machine. This mistake just gives French Magic players a bonus. When you're playing with the French version of Invasion of Phyrexia, apparently the X in the casting cost is irrelevant because the text of the card just says make 2/2/2 night tokens. So if you wanted to spend a bunch of mana and make a bunch of tokens, obviously it's worse. But if you choose to ignore the X and just pay 2 mana, you're getting 2/2/2 night tokens with abilities for 2 mana. So clearly that's broken, not how it's supposed to work. And we are seeing an increased amount of these style of mistakes. But let's turn to something that Wizards is actually doing right over in Japan, and that is creating unique plastic tokens. You can get these straight up in convenience stores when you're buying your Magic cards. And you can see there's a couple of different variations on the screen. I don't know how many there are because all the information is in Japanese and I don't know how to read that. So when I look at it, I go, I'm going to say there's probably at least 18 to 20 of these different tokens. I've only seen these two. I really dig the one that shows the dude soldier because it has Elspeth in the back, and I love it when you get that kind of a tie-in. You have Elspeth who makes soldier tokens. Here's a soldier token made by it, showcasing Elspeth. You do not normally get these, and these are more rugged than your regular everyday tokens. If you guys didn't know, the Japanese card market is more fierce in terms of competition, and so Wizards of the Coast is forced to give them special stuff that you can't get anywhere else in a bid to get their attention, because there are a lot of card games fighting for dollars over there. So these are pretty sweet looking. I do wish we got that stuff over here. Now, let's turn to talking about the crazy aftermath situation. I've been looking around and it actually turns out that all of these spoilers are originating from one source. There's a channel called Old School MTG, and as of the time of making this video, he has released 3 entire videos opening up collector booster boxes of March of the Machine Aftermath. So people have asked me, what kind of a scenario is this? Is this like when the playtest cards were pulled out by Rankard Elf and Wizards of the Coast came running out with their lawyers and went, get him? Or is this not quite as heavy as that? As far as I can tell, this looks like something just made it through the production line into somebody's hands, where it's like, okay, it got shipped out a month before it's supposed to, because Aftermath isn't coming out that far down the line. So somebody ends up getting their hands on it. As far as it looks like, he was able to get 12 boxes. Now, I don't know how the chain of custody works for this stuff, but when it comes to Magic products, this is the first time we've had something where you have March of the Machine and then March of the Machine Aftermath. It's literally just another word tacked onto the set, and Wizards is doing a million things. So I can easily see somewhere along the line, some of it just gets mixed in. It says March of the Machine on it, check. Somebody who doesn't know anything about it just moves it down the chain, and then it ends up in the hands of somebody who just starts cracking these boxes. So I don't think that it was acquired in any way that's like against the law or whatever. So as far as I can see, he's just going to be able to open them all up. And the whole set seems to be spoiled already. Take a look at Ob Nixilis, Captive Kingpin from these spoilers. This is a really cool card. And I just wanted to touch on the flavor of it because I know before I was talking about how I had a problem with the Aftermath flavor, but this fits into it pretty well. Ob Nixilis has been de-sparked and now he is trapped on Capenna. He's a kingpin there. He's powerful there. But compared to the power he had before, he's diminished once again. He lost his spark before. I dig the vibe of this card. And overall, 4 mana for a 4/4 flying trampler that whenever one of your opponents loses exactly 1 life, you put a +1/+1 counter on him, and then you get to exile a card off the top and play it. Like, that is not too shabby at all overall from power level. So I like this card. I thought it'd be fun to toss that in there at the end. This wraps up the news for the day. Big shout out to Debasement Games for sponsoring this video. Go check out their tournament. And also, big shout out to my patrons. Thanks for supporting my channel. I will see you all, my friends, for the next video.